Yeah, I was telling you how great you were. In any case, given that we got a lot of line items to fit in, let's just go ahead and get started here. Welcome one, welcome all to Handkerchief Dynasty, your 19th favorite Edmonton Oilers podcast. We're on episode 120. I am, as always, your secret professor, joined by my good friend and comrade in arms, the High Priest of Oilers Magic. How are you, High Priest?
I'm doing pretty well, doing good. It's very sunny here, very beautiful in
it. Really?
Yeah, it's wonderful here. Yeah, it's super warm. It's like 14 degrees and sunny. Like winter's pretty much feels like it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a magical time. It's a magical time.
Yeah, truly. Absolutely. Oilers Magic it almost feels stable. It feels very strong and also very stable. A golden age, as it were. You know what I mean?
I really feel like, it's interesting you say that because I'm feeling the same way. And that's kind of the topic on my mind, because certainly lately, and I think given the circumstances and what we've seen the last, say, like 18 months with the team, the Oilers are really in it now. And as Oilers fans, we're much more used to them either being just barely in it or not in it at all. And we're just completely paralyzed by the fear of just, no, we're not in it. We have no prospects of being in it. We're forgetting what it's like to be in it. But now, this is a team that is in it, And I liken it to, we're looking at the roster right now. Yes, there's some unanswered questions, but really we have the pieces we need. And the team has been together for a while. The coach has been there a little while now. The pipeline has been addressed. We do have people like Keith Gretzky and Pete Chiarelli to thank for that. The coaches that have come through this incredibly volatile coaching carousel, a lot of them have had an impact on making the players that have been here the longest, i.e., I think the one probably that's left is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Some of those coaches helped him develop. You have to develop the young players on your roster as well. That was painful. But now ultimately we're a team that's in it. And I think any anxiety about us being out of it is kind of overplayed. We're in a situation where the family's gotten together. We're making tacos. It's taco night, You got a lot of different ingredients you got to deal with on taco night. A lot of little bowls, a lot of things, a lot of condiments. Susie loves the black beans. Margaret, loves the quesadilla cheese, whatever. And then you put it all on the table and you're like, holy shit, actually, we don't have anywhere near enough spoons. And you're like, oh shit. But it's not that big of a deal, dude. You just go, you wash some spoons. Taco night requires a lot of spoons. I think that's where we are with this roster right now. Kenny Holland just needs to make sure we go and wash a couple of spoons, fill out the bottom half, and then keep on developing who we have, because I love this core. I really do.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I was just thinking today when I heard, every day you check sort of the leaderboard, at least I do, see what's going on. I'm like, we have the top 2 point getters in the entire league. You know what I mean? And I saw that and I was like, man, this is actual. It's down on paper. This is a fact. I sort of feel the same way. I like what you're saying about how there doesn't seem to be much of a question anymore whether we're in it. I think we are in it. I think we're there.
We're definitely in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think any questioning, kind of residual questioning, is more, those are personal problems, right? Those are
learned helplessness. You've been beaten so many times, you're just expecting it. You don't even try and escape anymore. It's because the negativity surrounding this team, swirling about it like a great horrible spirit vortex descending upon Western Canada and beyond is pretty epic. And that's going to happen when you have the worst record in professional sports for a decade. That's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it's the waters are kind of the clouds are starting to dissipate. I really feel like, and I'm actually getting used to, just enjoying a close game where I'm watching a team that I know right now is in it, has been in it for a while, and I'm confident that barring removing any little one-off aberrations statistically, your 2 or 3 game losing streaks here or there that may happen once in a while. I think this team is going to be fucking in it for a while because they got a good pipeline, they got a good GM, they got a good coach, and they got great fucking players, most importantly.
Yeah, like really great players. Yeah, I agree. I think it would do a world of good if the fan base could kind of take a moment, take 7 seconds from your day, take a deep breath, hold that breath for 7 seconds, kind of reset, you know what I mean? Kind of breathe out the past 25 years maybe, because at least right now, I mean, you know, and saying all this is still pre-playoffs, but even then, I mean, we're not going to have to deal with any of that, the ridiculousness that was the play-in round. Like, that's not happening this year. We're going to get a full 7-game series. And in the Canadian division, at least, like, I can't see any team taking the Oilers in a 7-game series.
Well, I can't see any team taking Connor and Leon for a 7-game series, because to be honest, like, them alone, like, those guys are good. If people talk about goalies winning you games, fucking Connor and Leon are guys that win you games single-handedly.
They did it.
As far as like last night.
Did it last night. Yeah.
It was Connie 2, the Jets 1, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got some support players coming. I'm really glad to hear the JJ injury is not necessarily long term, although if it's
what is it?
What is it? It's gotta be a concussion. So
yeah.
But I mean, apparently they probably don't think it's too bad, although, you know, they're very tricky and you never know, and they want to be extremely careful.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I'm actually not too hung up on the goaltending at this point. You know, I mean, Smith is amazing. I think Koskinen's is a decent backup. He's overpaid. He might get bought out in the summer, but he's fine as a backup at this point. As far as I'm concerned. It's found his rhythm a bit.
If by backup you mean playing 1 out of 3 games against the Ottawa Senators, then I completely agree with you. Anything beyond that, I mean, I haven't seen it yet. He got the win last night, and that was huge for his confidence. But I don't know, if I was a goalie and I was having a season like he's had, what it would take for me to get my confidence back to, you know, full level is I'd need to steal a game. I would need to make a save or a series of saves in a game that was the reason the team won the game. Last night, he made the saves he needed to make. He didn't let in any stinkers. But, I mean, goaltending wasn't part of the game last night. You know what I mean? It wasn't part of the equation. That was Connie won the game. We just played a super solid game. Like, the Jets looked flummoxed. It's not like the Jets weren't playing their game. It was 2 really good teams, you know, just trying to get any ground they could find out there. And we came out on top. But it wasn't like, you know, Mikko's back. It certainly wasn't that sort of game. Although
that's what I'm saying.
He won the game. Yeah.
He's a bit like a support player. He's a bit like a third line center or something, in the way that, like, he's not. You don't necessarily need him to help you that much. You need him to not hurt you. And he stopped hurting us a little bit. You know, there's been some times where he's hurt us in the recent past, letting in the first goal or the first shot.
Yeah, I mean, he had.
But right now he's moved on from that. He's gone. He's returned to the mean. Sure.
I mean, he hasn't played a lot lately, so he hasn't been hurting us in that sense.
I mean, it's clear now that you cannot expect my analysis of Edmonton Oilers goaltending to be like rational on any level. I'm very emotional. I'm very emotionally attached to them. It's a weird thing that I do now. I did want to quickly say special shout out to our patrons. Thank you so much for becoming patrons, everybody. You make our day each and every time we see you sign up. Robert and Daniel, our brothers from Other Mothers, thank you so much for becoming patrons. Heinrich, I think we're going to have to call you Heinrich the Great from now on. Thank you, Heinrich. Paul, you know, creator of Christianity and patron of Handkerchief Dynasty. I mean, what more could you ask from someone? Yeah, and Matthew, you know, our original samurai, our Kambe, probably our Kambe. Yeah. Thank you for being the Kambe to our Kikuchiyo / random assortment of villagers. Who are you in Seven Samurai, High Priest?
You know what? I've never seen Seven Samurai.
Oh my God. Okay, that's our first movie night for Handkerchief Dynasty, everybody. I wanted to ask you as well. So dealing with like, as we're doing an inventory of the kind of spiritual injuries Oilers fans need to expunge from their collective psyche to deal with the fact that we're now in it and we're going to be in it for a while.
Yeah.
People are saying, oh, Tyson Barrie's too expensive to re-sign. And I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned, like he's fit in great. It's like basically like what you want out of a player that you've signed to this type of deal is to come in and have them fit in great, and then just want to stay because they fit in fucking great. Like he's hacked into the matrix, especially of Connor. Connor loves playing with him, and they fucking ask Connor when it comes to these free agent questions at least a little bit. There's some communication channel. So why not? Like as far as I'm concerned, pay the man and worry about it later, because we just have this negative, all these negative associations with like these big defensemen that we signed and never working out the long term. I'm not going to name names, but there's enough names out there where it's been a problem. But at the same time, like how many of those guys were like threats to like be top 5 in defensive scoring year in, year out or something? Because he's looking like his old Colorado self right now.
He's looking like that and then some. And what I always think is, if you're Tyson Barrie and Connie comes up to you, and he's like, so you're staying, right? I mean, what do you say? Like, no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna leave Hockey Valhalla,
Yeah, exactly. It just, getting 4 apples in a game, it's super fun, right? It beats not getting 4 apples in a game by a wide margin.
And then getting reamed out by the Toronto Maple Leafs media.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who wants that? I mean, I'm such a firm believer, money talks, and I always try to think what I would do in the situation, right? Would I reach a point, and it's so easy to say, nobody's giving me, it's sad, but nobody's giving me millions of dollars to do anything. And I always think to myself, it is sad, yeah. I always think to myself, like, what is there a point where I would start putting dollars above anything else? And there might, but I think there might be another point where Connor McDavid comes up to me and is like, so you're staying, right? And
you want to win a Stanley Cup together? Like, fuck, man. Like,
and then I'm just like, yes, I am. I can't say no to this man. And I can't do it. Like, it would be so foolish of me to look behind me on the way out and see Connor McDavid holding his hockey stick there, like giving me puppy dog eyes. I'd be like, what am I doing? I'm making a horrible mistake. Yeah. So the negative, like the whole Tyson Barrie thing, that's very emblematic of the Oilers complex. Like that whole thing, it's almost like Oilers fans, it's so bizarre. They're like, they would like him, like they feel he's playing too well, and that we're not going to be able to afford him. Like, talk about looking for problems, right? Like,
it's like you had 5 Cocker Spaniels, purebred Cocker Spaniels that you bought for the family over the years, right? And just by nature of bad luck, the universe just doesn't like you. They all died under like accidental circumstances, Would you be like, okay, well, we've now moved to like our own private villa where there's enough space for it to roam and it's totally free from any danger and everything's fine now. Be like, oh no, we still can't invest the money in it.
This is exactly what it's right.
After them before,
It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I hope it goes back to what I was saying about we all need to take a deep breath. Like, take a deep breath. If that's your jam right now, the Tyson Barrie thing, just let it go. Let it go.
What about, let's get dollars to donuts here though. 6 times 6, which to be honest, would be a fucking like steal.
For Tyson Barrie?
For like a top pairing or a top offensive defenseman, even if you do have to shelter him here and there, like to be honest, he's playing great with Nurse right now too. Like that's a great fucking pairing for us. So he could actually be in the top pairing and not, obviously wouldn't be considered like a top 10 defenseman or anything like that, because you kind of need to be a little more two-way, I think. But in terms of offensive production, like Bob Stauffer was right, man. Like he's been saying Tyson Barrie needs to be on this team for like forever. And he was 120% right. It's been
he was right about that.
Scientifically proven now.
Yeah, I think pay him whatever he wants, but I also think that he really wants to be here. I mean, he's been looking for this. You know what I mean? He was in Toronto. He was in Colorado. Like, he was looking for this. This is a guy that wants to win. I think that's been his main. That's how you end up in Edmonton. It's either a place right now that you've got your mind made up about that you don't want to go to. You don't want to play in Edmonton, or you do. And if you do, you want to, because you want to play with Connor and Dry and you want to be part of this. So I'd be shocked if it turned into this huge thing where he didn't feel like he was, you know what I mean? I just cannot see it happening. It feels like he's here because he wants to be here, and it should be no problem finding a way to make that work for a substantial amount of time. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, related question. Do you think that inevitably, given the fact that we have maybe some needs at forward, maybe some needs in goal, I'm not completely sure, and I don't necessarily think this is trade deadline. This might be more off season.
Yeah, not this season. I don't for goal. Anyway.
Do you see a young defenseman getting moved for another asset? Just given that we're trying to graduate a bunch of people at the same time, and it seems like there's a little bit of a embarrassment.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think there's probably more depth in our defensive pipeline than there is up front. But we also have a guy up front who is it official that he's been nominated for the Hobie Baker Award? Like, Dylan Holloway might be that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he might be here. Like, could he play for us this year?
I think technically he could play in the playoffs. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, to have a guy who's potentially a Hobie Baker finalist. Wow. I mean, you know what I mean?
How good does that draft pick look right now? Remember on the day, everyone was just like, "What's Ken Holland doing?" Because we were also all fixated again on like other stuff because we really wanted that guy that got taken right below Holloway, and then everyone was like, "Who's this Holloway guy?" And everyone's just like, "Oh, there's a huge separation between that pick and this pick, and we're right on the bubble or whatever." But like, what a fucking killer draft pick that looks like right now. He is lighting that league up.
Yeah, and I think I think he'll fit. You know what I mean? So much of who you pick is how they fit. And he strikes me, I mean, I'm basing this on absolutely nothing, essentially jib and jib alone. But he strikes me as the type of guy who will fit in with this club. You know what I mean? Mm. Like, he looks like he's like a gamer. Like, he's into it. He's ready to go. He wants to win. He wants to play with great players. He's a hockey guy. You know what I mean?
He loves to water ski. He's got joie de vivre, which we can always use a little more of. To be honest, I actually feel like pound for pound in terms of like personality elements people bring to the Oilers. When someone can come into that room with a little bit of joie de vivre, it goes a huge way.
Well, think of how much joie de vivre was on our Dynasty teams, right? Like, it was like it was so much joie de vivre, the guys eventually got suspended for it, right? Like, it was a lot. There was a lot of joie de vivre. But you need that. You need that. You're right. You absolutely.
I think the Oilers especially. I feel like James Neal brought a little bit of that. I think even guys just like obviously Puljujärvi is bringing a huge amount of that right now.
And winning brings a lot of that too, right?
Absolutely,
Once you can kind of shed the old losing snake skin, that brings a lot of it as well.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Why don't we begin the wind down procedure? I know you have to get back to your duties aboard the vessel. Can you speak to the sacred projects that are the waterbound high priest of Oilers Magic activities that you'll be performing later today?
What I have to do?
Yeah.
Well, I have to repair manuscripts. That's a big part of what I do.
Sure.
I have to check the ports, make sure the ports aren't dusty.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And I have to take like a constitutional with birds on my shoulders. That only takes about 20 minutes, but it's in terms of mental energy. I mean, I usually eat soup beforehand, so it's about an hour all told.
Not bad. Okay, but obviously we can. Some of this is proprietary High Priest of Others magic activities. So
absolutely,
yeah,
most of it.
So to gain access to the proprietary items, or to gain access to even perhaps some sacred text, please join us on Patreon.com/Handkerchief Dynasty.
Hey, I meant to say that.
Go ahead.
I mean, these mixtapes you've been making, right?
I was just going to say the fifth one I feel is like my favorite one yet.
Well, and I want to say that if you're thinking about, because I've been telling Secret Professor for years, the first time he came to me with the idea for doing an Oilers podcast, I immediately said, don't even stop what you're saying to me right now. You should be making a music podcast because your taste.
Yeah, but that's what I really
is exquisite.
Thank you.
Is exquisite. And I'm sure, I mean, these mixtapes, I think it's so great that you're making these. And if you're thinking about joining Patreon, just trust me, do it. If for no other reason to get access to this guy's mixtapes, because every time you've told, and I'm a music guy, and whenever you tell me to listen to something, I always do, which I don't always. Usually someone will tell me to listen to something and I'll tell them like we all do. I'll say, yeah, sure, I'll listen to it.
Sure.
And then I don't.
Yeah, everybody does that, yeah.
Yes, but when you tell me to listen to something, I always make sure that I listen to it. And then when I do listen to it, it's all I think about for days after. So I can't imagine how good
that's the stuff I try and share.
Yeah, these mixtapes, I'm sure, must be, I mean, it could change your year. It could change your year, these mixtapes. So consider becoming a Patreon member to get access to the Secret Professor's mixtapes.
No joke. A lot of fun. I'm already working on number 6. I think the patrons have really appreciated them, because after I released number 5, one of them immediately upgraded to like the $15 level. I was just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Really like the intro track on that one. It's kind of too bad though, because in the transition to YouTube, like it's, I don't want to put music on the episodes anymore, obviously, right?
Yeah.
The music died. That's the day the music died on YouTube.
Right.
All right. Well, let's leave it there, bro. Always a pleasure chatting. Thank you so much for taking the time away from your duties, and we will discuss our other action items in the management scrum later this afternoon. Remember to bring a suit and tie.
Okay, I'll bring one.
Yeah, bring one. Don't wear
just
it.
In a Safeway bag.
Yeah.
Safeway bag with a suit and tie, 2-liter pop bottle full of tap water. That's how I roll.
That was so funny. I dropped my camera. All right,
it was pretty funny.
I'll catch you next time. All right, take care, everybody.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.